All right. I'm live, guys. Good to see you on here. Um, all right. So it's been a few weeks here. Just finished playing some basketball. Got to keep the cardio going. Getting old over here, so don't use it, you lose it. Okay. So, um, great to be back. Been a few weeks, and let people hop in to say hi. Let us know. Let us tell the world what's your name, where you from. What's your name, where you from. Let's see. So I'm gonna be here for about 40 minutes. Yeah, about 40 minutes. Uh, then I'll have to hop on the next call. But yeah, I was trying to find my glasses, but didn't find them. I don't really need them because they're not prescription glasses, but they certainly help for staring at a computer screen a lot. So want to make sure I have them. Whoever's here, say hi. Let us know where you're from. If you want to be sort of anonymous, I guess don't say anything. But okay, so there's a few things I'm going to be covering today, assuming no one asks any questions of their own. But of course, questions that are asked within this call are going to be prioritized um, instead of the questions that I'm prepared to answer. So the questions I am already prepared to answer. Um, Pretty much sunset outside in Chicago. Pretty nice. Okay, so let's see what am I answering here? So the first question that I already intended to answer is, what do you do for training a sales rep? Okay, so that's the first question I'll probably be answering. Uh, on top of any questions that are asked within this particular live chat. Second question would be, what made you decide to sell your company? Um, so again, I'll be answering those two questions today. But any other questions that you guys might have, feel free to ask. And you know what? Let me make sure I send this live stream out to the Facebook group so they are aware. First, I gotta find the Facebook group somewhere on my computer, wherever that is. Well, here's Facebook. Just a second here. Okay. Right now. Answering your questions. Okay. Almost there. And that is posted. Okay, good. Okay. Hey, Omir. Good to see you in here, man. Okay. Another question I'll be answering. And Omir, feel free to ask any questions you have. He's now in the tribe, which is awesome. Why is right now a good time to start a call center company? That's such a good question that I'm going to actually do a YouTube video on that. So let me write that down. Right now, good time to start a call center company YouTube video. Oh, hey, Barker. Here from Belgium. I just got this a Remarkable 2. It's like a writing tablet. It's pretty cool. You can like write stuff on it, and it'll appear. Got like a little digital eraser, so I could write something and erase it. Very cool. So I've been sort of keeping a to-do list on this. Uh, Definitely didn't get everything done on here today, but still got time. Still got time, so we'll get it done. Let's see. Let me get back to this. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me answer Barker Force's question. Well, you know what? That's sort of like not quite a question, but more of an update. So I guess I will just start with a an update. So one of the cool things is that I'm back in the call center game. One of the things I realized was that if I was going to continue to sort of teach a course and sort of consult and give advice and be considered somebody that is trying to be helpful on the topic of call centers, I want to make sure that I'm able to sort of keep things fresh, keep my mind fresh about it. Like, I want to continue to be up on, what are the trends in the industry? Uh, what are new software that might have come to light that are good that I might not pay attention to if I'm not in the business anymore. One thing to be out of the business for 2 years, another to be out of it for 10 years. And so I didn't want to continue to have a course that people are spending money on uh, while, just being out of the business for too long. So that's sort of the premise of what we're working on here. Um, and so with that in mind, uh, I didn't really have a specific company that I wanted to start. What really happened was that there were some people. There's been a good amount of people that have been reaching out to me wanting to partner up and do businesses together. Uh, and so one of the sort of parties I would say that reached out in that regard are these two guys from Zimbabwe that currently live in Toronto. And I was really impressed with the operation that they already had up and running in Zimbabwe. They had workers that are essentially, able to work on like campuses that they set up for these workers. They're able to live there. They're able to work there, and they're just set up well. And because it's Zimbabwe, the prices in comparison to what it would cost in the U.S. or Canada are very low. Um, and so you've got all these great talent. You've got all these people that are ready to work and motivated, but they don't have the opportunity, unfortunately, to work. And so, they built a company, they established a company that was really, a company, but also utilizing the countrymen and women for that purpose. And I was very excited to, one, sort of become a part of it, but two, sort of organize a pivot into a new company utilizing the same workforce and some of the established structures that they already had. And so that company is called Vandu Virtual. We're going to be serving all kinds of companies, across the U.S. and the world. And we're going to have a virtual receptionist component, which is, that's what I teach in the course. We're also going to be doing some other things. And the way that we're going about this, I won't really be competing with those of you that are in the tribe in Call Center Cast, which is the course that I talk about. So, I'm just really excited about that. Again, I wanted to, be an authentically good teacher if I'm going to continue to teach on this subject. And so this is certainly a good opportunity. I'm also going to be doing almost launched a call center for other course creators such as myself. I don't like to call myself a course creator because I just have one course and I only really created it because there's nothing else out there and I figure it's good for people to have the information. That's why I do these free live calls. Um, but end of the day, now that I have a course and have students and stuff, I sort of understand the unique needs of a course creator. And so my partner in that, he spent a lot more time in this industry prior to me joining it. And he came to me with the idea, how about a call center for course creators? Seemed like a natural fit. And so that's what we've got going. We've got a few clients for both. One isn't launched yet, so we're still sort of getting ready to launch, but we already have some clients that are sort of waiting. So it's exciting. I just hired 7 people for the second company. Excited to put them to work. Excited to see what they can do and start getting some money in their pocket. Um, so yeah, whoever's here, feel free to continue on and say hi. But okay, so first question that I had written down was, what do you do for training a sales rep? And I think that's a good question. Um, so I don't want to get too much into this, right? Because when it comes to questions like that, I go a lot more in depth in my program. But as far as what do you do for training a sales rep? One of the main things is just in general, outside of just call center, a sales rep needs to understand everything about their offer, what they're selling, the product, the service, whatever it is. They need to understand your company. They need to understand your pricing. They need to understand why you price things a certain way, why you service, like offer certain services, what the philosophy of your company is, what you're aiming to do as a company or achieve as a company going forward, um, and exactly how you're currently serving clients, how you would serve them given different scenarios, and why the way we do things is different from competitors in the market, right? It seems like a lot of stuff, but a lot of when you're talking about the philosophy and stuff, the information that you're training your rep on, it sort of goes hand in hand, your vision and why you're different and those types of things. But the point is that your sales rep needs to understand it. If your sales rep needs to not only know it, be knowledgeable about it, but also understand it, then half, like 75% of the job is done. The other 25% of the job is just getting out there and putting in the work to get yourself in front of the right potential clients and having those conversations and closing deals. But you can't close a deal if you don't know your product or service well and you don't know why you're selling it to someone. Um, and so again, the goal is to arm the sales rep with knowledge about your company. You're not sitting here trying to make up all kinds of things about uh, the sales process and blah blah blah. If you simply hire someone that has prior sales experience, most of that will already be understood. But as far as why they're selling what you are asking them to sell, they just need to have a good understanding of the product and service inside and out. I come from a sales background before going into business, and part of the reason I was able to have really a good amount of success in those roles is because I always made sure I fully understood what I was selling. The last job I ever had, which ended in 2011, was a sales job, and I was selling numismatic or rare coin to people over the phone, cold calling them. And within 5 months, I got to the point that I was selling $20,000 worth of coins a week to people on cold calls. Um, and again, the reason why I was able to do that was because we were armed with the basics in terms of training, and then I looked out to the like best sales reps at the company, and they told me, "This is what I know. These are the resources I utilize in order to learn this additional information. Get to studying." And so I got to studying, and most importantly, I constantly put in the work, 300 calls a day. So you put in the work, that's most of it. But once you're on the phone, the psychological bit of it, if you understand why you're selling what you're selling, the conversations are easy. You're not fumbling around. You understand why you're doing something. And so it goes from I'm trying to sell you something to, hey, I'm convincing someone that, could very well be a friend of mine, why they should see a certain movie, right? Uh, If you thought Top Gun was amazing, you convinced them to see Top Gun, and you convinced them why they should be excited about the new movie Maverick that just came out, right? Those things aren't difficult for really anyone that can communicate at all. So sales doesn't need to be difficult. That's my philosophy as far as sales rep. Another question was, what made you decide to sell your company? So that was a pretty simple thing. I hadn't really put much thought into selling my company. I was in a situation where, we were doing well. And, I was thinking that maybe I would be keeping the company for another 20, 30 years and handing it down to kids. Uh, and I don't have any kids yet. But that was still like sort of in the vision. Like I would just keep it forever. And what ended up happening was I got an unsolicited offer from a friend of mine. Um, and that friend happened to be the first client we ever had, which was sort of hilarious. He also had a cleaning company like I did when I started this business. And, just created a nice situation. Didn't have to do, the same amount of due diligence. Didn't have to figure out whether this person was trustworthy because I knew him for better half of a decade. Um, it was just it was almost an informal transaction. There was obviously paperwork involved, but it wasn't the same type of situation you would be in when you're exchanging that amount of money to buy a company. So the ease of the transaction was something that appealed to me. I didn't want to have to go through a stressful situation, really. I didn't want to be in a situation where I start to get excited about the premise of exiting the company and then it fall through for whatever reason. So I knew that once I had the offer, which was really above what I was looking for, there was no reason not to take it and move forward. So that's what happened. Okay, I'm gonna keep rolling here. Barker, good question. Um, Option for virtual receptionist white labeling with your new company. Absolutely, yes. We're going to be doing that soon after we launch. Um, the first step right now is getting launched and then getting a little bit established. I want to take like a month or so to get things together, just to make sure, because it's a new workforce in terms of this. Um, it's I'm experienced with remote workers, but I'm not experienced with Zimbabwe yet, right? Um, got some great candidates, and I feel great. But until my people are on for a month and they know their way around things, it's one thing to service my own clients. It's another thing to be the fulfillment partner for someone else that had their own company and they're trying to tell their clients a certain thing, and then they're expecting my company to hold up their end of the bargain. If I lose a client, I lose a client, but I don't want to screw an entire company over. So about a month or so for us to get our crap together, get operations going, make sure our people are ramped up, and then we'll start doing that. So I'm excited about that. Hope that answers your question, Barker. Let me be more specific. I would say by let's say August, maybe August 1st, but sometime in August, we should be prepared and ready to open up everything for a white label. Okay. So yeah, any other questions, feel free to ask. Another question was, why is right now a good time to start a call center company? So the reason why right now is awesome is a few reasons. One, um, I do believe that we are approaching. Hey, Mark, good to see you, man. I do believe that we are approaching a recession. There's just a lot of people and things that are. There's a lot of things that are happening that are indicators of a market that is slowing down, and people not feeling as secure and flush with cash or capital, or as employed or feeling secure about their employment as they were before. Couple examples. Um, Actually, I really don't want to give any example, but I do think that we're heading into a recession. And the reality is that if we head into a recession, our niche is actually great for a recession. It's great when times are good, but it's particularly good in a recession. And the reason for that is that a lot of the potential clients in our space are spending money right now on full-time in-house receptionist help, and unfortunately, one of the first job to go when a small company is laying people off or cutting staff is the in-house receptionist, right? Uh, but arguably, and maybe ironically, when a company is starting to struggle a bit, each potential sales call or sales inquiry is now more important because they need to capture as much revenue as is possible to continue to stay in business. And so, they can get rid of the receptionist, but they still need to answer the calls, even if there's less of them. And so instead of, our entire premise, instead of paying someone in house 3 to 4 grand a month, uh, and all of those things, they can turn around and pay us a few $100s a month, still have those important potential sales come in and be handled by a professional, savvy receptionist that's used to taking calls in that manner, so that they can continue to keep their business running in a let's say a efficient way or on par, um, while being able to cut costs. And so, to give you perspective, I sold Vicky Virtual in October 2019, right before the pandemic. Pandemic, obviously, we know what happened in March 2020. In the year 2020, Vicky Virtual actually grew 50%. Um, that wouldn't have happened. I mean, maybe it would have happened. A new owner's a new owner, but I don't believe it would have happened so easily because they really didn't do much in terms of the new management. Wouldn't have happened so easily. Um, it wouldn't have happened so easily if there weren't a recession and if there weren't so many people that were like coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm trying to save some money. Can you guys take call?" And then what happened too is once you're taking call for them, because it's the first time they ever considered it. Once you're taking call for them, um, they're like, "Oh, well, this worked. This is great," and they end up not wanting to go back. And frankly, if they do hire someone back, let's say they hire a receptionist back, that receptionist doesn't have to waste time taking calls anymore. They can work on higher impact things. Maybe be able to greet customers without being distracted, right? Without saying, "Hey, can you hold on a second? Can you hold on a second?" When someone walks in, they can focus on filing an additional amount of paperwork. I don't know. But the reality is that it's very helpful for pretty much any small business. Wow, I'm really going on a rant with this one. So, why is right now a good time? We're entering a recession. Recessions are good for this niche. Um, and just in general, people are starting to slowly understand what a virtual receptionist is. People are starting to slowly understand that it's okay to hire your fulfillment out remotely. I know a lot of large organizations understand this when they do large scale outsourcing, but even the small mom and pop that were forced to do things remotely because of the virus, they are now in a situation where they understand some of the dynamics of running your company in a remote way and the dynamic of saying, okay, I am going to outsource our phone handling in a remote way to a company that handles calls remotely. It's a more comfortable thing now. So as people sort of say, okay, well, what can I do? We enter the conversation if it comes to phone handling. That's our niche. So answering services, I believe, are going to explode before the pandemic, and without that dynamic, it was already poised to grow by 7%. I think in reality, we're going to see like 10 to 15% increases, at least for a few years. And that's pretty much unprecedented in industries that are as mature as the larger call center industry. Um, okay, Mark asked, in your course regarding websites, is it look and feel that you discuss, or is it more content related? So, as far as the course, there's a few things. There's one video that needs to be added. Let me put this on the list too. And sorry about this. Okay, so in the course, there's a few ways in which I touch on this. The first is that um, there's a bonus video where I go. Well, there's really a bunch of things. Like there's a part where I go over why I worded certain things on the Vicky Virtual homepage. I talk about the unique value proposition, and that's basically copy, right? There's a part where I think it's one of the bonus videos where I talk about why Vicky Virtual is a website was designed a certain way. And then I also go through some of our competitors, our large one websites, just in a small way. And I talk about psychologically why certain things are there. And so basically, you can sort of glean information from that and use that to help inform how you build your own website. And then also, I talk in the sort of marketing, post launch marketing section in module 4. I talk about on page SEO. So SEO has a huge impact in terms of how you're going to perform. And so when it comes to your website design is one thing, but the way that you structure it in terms of making sure that's an SEO friendly site is arguably more important. And so there's that. I don't do a thing in terms of, oh, I'm going to teach you how to build a website. I don't do that because that's just a different course. It's sort of pointless to jam pack that much information. If you truly don't understand how to build a website at all, just hire somebody for cheap. Um, and if you do understand, then you just take my cues on what to do psychologically, what to do in terms of your copy, and what to do in terms of SEO and build your site. So I hope that that answers your question. And as far as let's say you ask the question, hey, how would you go about building a website? The way that I go about building a website in general is first I do the logo. Um, I either have it done or I do it myself. And I decide on a color scheme in order to do the logo. And sometimes I use something called a psychology of color spectrum wheel, like a color wheel, and you can see some of the major brands' logo and what those colors represent. Like, yellow means fun and comical or something. Blue means like powerful, authoritative. Like the presidents will always wear a blue tie. That type of stuff. Um, and so I decide on a color, I decide on a logo, and let's say that whatever color the logo is, the color scheme of the actual website either matches it completely or complements it completely while including still the color from the logo. The feel of the site, I have my own personal preference. I build things in a way where it just looks sort of crisp and clean, and that's just how it is. Other people like to be a bit more fancy, I guess. But I like the clean, crisp look. I like the, sort of like the whole Apple look to a certain extent. They're sort of, even if they do a lot, it's still sort of minimalist, and they have informed a lot of web design based off of how they have built their site. So that's how I go about building a site. Logo, keep the color scheme from the logo, and then keep the site looking like it makes sense based off of the company name and the logo itself. Okay, any other questions? Water I'm drinking is not very good. Been talking for a while now. The little one. So Lucky's doing pretty good. I don't know where he is, but running around somewhere. Um, doing good. Doing good. Just sort of chilling out. And whoever hopped in here just now, I know there's a few of you that just joined. One, hello. Two, feel free to let us know who you are and where you're from. And most importantly, there's going to be a recording of this call for whatever you missed. Uh, as soon as I hop off, this video will turn into a recording. Any other questions anybody might have? And the websites are actually not completely done for either of the new companies, Vondu or Course Agent. So I'm not gonna put up the website ad URLs right now. But once they're done, I'll put that up. And I built both of these sites myself. I don't know why I still keep doing that, but I did. Okay. And so you'll see, what's in my mind right now in terms of how I go about designing sites. The last thing I'll say that I forgot to say is that I typically look at what the competitors are doing, and I do use design elements from competitors' site. Not exactly, but I take inspiration from like 3 or 4 that I thought did a really good job, and I'll sort of tie in my own variant of those design elements pretty much every single time. Omer, good question. Are you taking a cold calling marketing approach on your new company? So with Vondu, right now I'm going after sort of people with larger companies in my network because there's sort of an enterprise feel to what we're working on. At a certain point, I will be probably on like LinkedIn Sales Navigator and cold outreaching people. It's going to be a little while though because fortunately I've grown out my network to where we already have some clients and we got some on the way as a result, and I haven't reached out to everyone yet. So once my networks are exhausted, then yeah, we'll be doing some LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And maybe it won't be me. Maybe by that time we'll just hire a sales rep to do it. But 100% the company itself is going to be utilizing some cold calling to get clients. 100%. We're also going to start doing some content marketing ASAP. ASAP. It's so that's Vondu. As far as Course Agent, um, that's not a company we're gonna ever do cold calling. We're reaching out to other course creators, so that's something that best with ads, and then also my partner has a huge network. So I'm not even actually gonna try to land clients for that. That's my partner's job. My job is to get the call center going, and then if I run into an easy opportunity here and there, then that'll be what that is. But my job will not be client for the first time. By the way, my job won't be client acquisition on this company. It's sort of a weird thing because again, I've never in my life not been, if not the guy, one of the main people responsible for generating clients. Any other questions? Gonna stick around for 6 more minutes. 6 more minutes. Well, Omer, how's everything going with you? I know you're sort of going through the process right now. And Barker, I hope everything's okay with you. Uh, Mark, uh, 500 or 5,000 agents. So with Vondu, actually, we do have a goal of getting to 5,000 agents. Be in Zimbabwe, but it's straight up literally our goal to get to 5,000 agents employed by be a larger employee and employer in Zimbabwe. And, help some people out, change some lives. Um, that would be a 90 to $100 million a year company. So for 5,000 employees, that's actually not very big. But as far as Zimbabwe is concerned, this is US dollars. So as far as Zimbabwe is concerned, that is a lot of money. And, a lot of people will be making significantly more than the average wage in that scenario. Yeah. Now, as far as course agents, I sort of got to think about that because one of the things we have to figure out is like I have some guesses on this based off of prior experience, but what we're doing, um, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to shake out in terms of what the bandwidth of agents, because I think there's going to be a huge live chat component. We're probably going to be doing more live chat like support for clients than we will be doing phone answering and phone stuff. Um, and we'll also be doing some email. And so if we're doing email, if we're doing live chat and phone, um, like the agent bandwidth and the way that it flushes out going to be completely different. So right now there's a theory in that regard. Once I know the numbers, then I can start to forecast a lot better. As far as right now, the goal is to get that to 2 million a year. So $200,000, 2.4. So $200,000 a month in revenue. That's the goal. Um, that's the first goal. I think we can grow larger than that, but that's the first goal. My partner and I will be very pleased if that happens, when that happens. And also, I think that 200,000 a month is around. It'll be around 150 to 200 clients. So each client is actually going to be a decent size. So it's not like a crazy thing. Any other questions at all? I've got about 2 more minutes. And I'm getting a surprise for myself. Once every once course agents hit $50,000 a month in revenue, I already have something picked out. So that's sort of my goal. Amir said he's trying to figure out a marketing approach. Okay. Well, I know that you were already starting to work on one. Um, if I'm you, I'm continuing on that path. I think it was a very good one. But it just, sometimes it takes a little while. Like a lot of our biggest students, took them several weeks to sort of figure things out. And then once they got rolling, that ball slowly started rolling downhill faster and faster. And at a certain point, the inertia just helps you out and does all the work for you. But you got to push hard enough to get that ball rolling, and it's not a 1 day, not a 1 week effort. Mark, you're completely right. So you are completely right. Any other final questions? Well, I hope this was helpful for everyone. I will be back next week. I'm excited to be back, and man, it's becoming a pretty hot summer here in Chicago. Thank you, Mark. Still hot summer here in Chicago, but I'm not complaining because I hate cold weather, and I was dreaming about being away from Chicago all of winter. So it's nice to be here in the good times when it's warm and beautiful out in the beautiful city. But yeah, anyway, I'm back here to help you guys out. So make sure you're here. Invite your friends next week, and we can all party. Yeah. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you all next week. If you came on late, make sure you feel free to rewatch the recording here. Any other question after I hop off? Feel free to leave a comment. And for those of you that aren't currently subscribed, make sure you subscribe. That way, you'll be notified next week and beyond when I hop on to do additional session. Thanks so much, guys.